It is 4 minutes after 2 o'clock on Friday in New York City. Done.
Hi, Mike. Great to be with you again. This LinkTank is just getting to be more fun and more valuable as time goes on. And want to thank everybody who's tuning in. I know I've been posting today, to build awareness. And we're doing this every Tuesday and Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. So got some great conversation waiting for you today. And hopefully our goal is always to have one really good takeaway that you can leverage right after the call and see value today. Mike?
Today. So in a continuation from Tuesday, which we were so packed with so much information, we didn't get to fulfill the beginning of what we were going to release, which is the small hinges swing big doors. So if you don't know what we're talking about, go back to Tuesday's link tank to get all those nuggets from Tuesday. I'll give a quick summary. Small hinges swing big doors. Even if you have a door that's just one of the doors on a castle, you still only have basically 3 hinges. So those hinges, whether it's a small door or a big door, that's what it means. Small hinges swing big doors. So what is the significance of a small hinge? This is Don from my former business partner, who's still a dear friend, John Asaroff, the company Neuro Gym. I helped build with him, start in his backyard. And he always say, focus on small hinges that swing the big doors. So when we're talking about LinkedIn, and we're talking about how do you turn the effort and energy on LinkedIn into results. So the results might be, okay, I just want to be stay in front of people around the world as a thought leader and stay relevant. That's a good outcome for some. The another outcome might be, I want to be able to be broadcast as a global leader and get invited to speak on podcasts, on TV, and that kind of thing, and joint ventures. That's good. And then the vast majority of the people that we're working with, or they want to be broadcast as a thought leader, change the positioning globally, turn conversations into appointments and sales. So you and I are always talking about results. So talk about results for a second, Donna, and then we'll get into the relationship between what we're talking about and the 3 hinges.
Yeah, I think that's a great starting point, because there's a tremendous amount of activity towards planting seeds, cultivating, but not really going to harvest, and really not understanding what your goal was and did you accomplish it. And that's really an aspect of, are you really keeping the right score by looking at the results, right? Or at least planning for the results, because when you start on a journey, you usually have a place you want to go, right? And that kind of tends to direct you as to how you get there. And whatever the goal is, it's okay, as long as that's the goal, right? So a lot of people don't want to have goals because they don't want to be accountable.
That's a good one to dig into. This is now we're moving into personal development and mindset. So what you're saying is that a lot of people, I'm going to rephrase it, a lot of people will give effort, good effort, but they don't set a goal and give 100% effort, and because of fear of failure. If you only give, let's just make up some numbers, 85%, and then you don't get results, well, you don't feel so tough on yourself, because subconsciously you're like, I didn't really give it. But if you set goals and you give them 100% and then you don't hit it, then, well, it's a different story.
Well, I think that's perspective is so key, because if you start with the anticipated result, now you have to work backwards to make it happen. If you start with the beginning steps, all you do is go as far as you're comfortable going for as long as you want to go. And then whatever numbers you get, you justify it by something else. So you're really misaligned and misdirected. So again, if you say, I want 5, how many does it take, to Mike's point, how many connections to how many calls, to how many appointments, let's say, or engagements. And if you're not getting it, then it's easy just to increase activity, right? If you're only getting half as what you need and you're doing 10, now you got to do 20. The numbers always work. So the numbers aren't something you have to worry about. It's really, it is a personal development game. LinkedIn is a long game. The game is between you and yourself, and it's a lonely game. And that's where me and Mike come in, is we've been up and down the mountain a few times. We know where the easy routes are and the quick wins and the long-term successes. And one beautiful thing about LinkedIn Live, and now our LinkTank, is we could share this information with huge amounts of people at the same time, people that I've been working with every day for 2 years. So you don't realize what a reserve of goodwill you build up over time by, creating knowledge and sharing it, supporting other people in their posts. And you have to go and be the one who asks from them, okay, here's what I need now. I'm doing a LinkTank, come and see it, and people don't realize the goodwill they built up because they don't know how to keep the right score. Right? And too many people are going for what they don't have instead of working with what they have. I mean, I got 38,000 followers. How many more do I need to get 5 appointments a month? Right? They're all there,
Yeah.
So Mike, you're a genius when it comes to funnels, when it comes to systems, when it comes to strategies. This is a perfect opportunity.
It is. And, from a mindset standpoint, we can break it down and we're going to go into the small hinges that swing the big dog. But first off, from a mindset standpoint, what Don said is really smart, is that if you think about the end in mind. So I gave you a few outcomes that our clients want. They want to get JVs, they want to get on TV, they want to get on podcasts, etc. They want to be relevant, stay relevant, and be a thought leader, and they want business. So those are all outcomes. But those in themselves, without any type of number attached, are, let's call it, just fluffy. So you say, okay, let's take the one I want to get on podcasts and maybe on TV, and I want to be a thought leader. So, the way to do that is to make yourself desirable by being on LinkedIn and producing video training and content of what your genius is and how you share. So then those people that need great people like you, they don't need to see like a speaker reel from 5 years ago, which is irrelevant. They can actually just see you on LinkedIn. You're getting in front of them on LinkedIn. They'd be like, that person is the person I want. But if you have an objective to do that, but you don't have any numbers tied, and you do it for 30 or 60 days, and you give it 85%, like I just said, and then nothing really comes of it. You don't really have like a system. You're sporadically kind of doing it. Then the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to say, "Well, LinkedIn sucks. Doesn't work for me." And the reality is it's the farthest thing from the truth. So the way to look at this is to say, okay, I want to be able to get on one podcast a week. So in order to get on one podcast a week, what is that going to take? And I'm making this up. So maybe you need to speak to 10 podcasters a week for one of them to say yes. I mean, I think that's low. I don't know. I'm not looking to get on other people's podcasts. I don't know if you have, but so let's just say every 10 podcasters you can connect with, one will say, "Oh yeah, come on." So then, okay, that's 10 a week that you need to sort of have that conversation. So then what is the next level above having a conversation? Well, somehow you need to be connected to these people, right? You have to initiate a conversation and get them in your network. So say you need to have, 20 people, 20 podcasters that you sort of, do outreach to, and 50%, yeah. And out of those, one says yes. Well, what are my activity? What do I need to do to reverse engineer to hit my goal of one a week? It's like I need to have 20 conversations with podcasters, so 10 accept me, so one will say yes. That's great, because then you put it on a spreadsheet and you say, okay, this is my activity for the week. Then you can say there's 5 days in the week, right, Don?
Yeah,
So
and
five
here's
times four, yeah,
what,
5 times 4 is 20. So then you only have to do 4 outreach a week. That'll get you 20 at the top, and you'll get 10 of those in one. So then you can say, okay, every day I got to do 4 outreach.
well, and I think that's so key is that there's some discipline that's involved. If you were working for somebody, they would share their expectations by the day or by the week or whatever period, and you'd have to fulfill it to reach expectation. And what's so beautiful about LinkedIn is it's not time oriented, it's activity oriented. To Mike's point, you can do 20 outreaches a day. You could do it in a month. You could do it in an hour. How fast do you want to move up the ladder? And the other thing that I just realized, in most cases, when you're out there promoting something, you're always saying, hey, I'm just the messenger, not the message, right? On LinkedIn, it's just the opposite. You're the message. LinkedIn's the messenger. They do all the work. They pay all the overhead. When I used to do marketplace sales like on eBay or whatever, there were listing fees, right? So if you want to list a product, you had to pay a listing fee. So you just didn't put anything. Maybe it was 12 cents plus a percentage of the sale or whatever back then. The point is LinkedIn lets you do 100 messages to any groups, any people, anytime you want, for as long as you want, let you throw videos on there, let you throw your content on there. And all you got to do is actuate. Push the go, go, go button, and all of a sudden everything starts flying like the 4th of July, and you're making noise, and people are seeing you when other people are saying, well, I'm coming up with the perfect post. I'll have it ready in 4 days. And 3 people look at it. The other part of what Mike's saying is having everything you need is great, but without exposure, without promotion, you're playing to empty theaters. Right? So half of it is getting your act together. The other one is promoting in arenas that people show up.
Yes.
And that makes all the difference.
I call it your own best kept secret. That's not a good thing. If you have something to share with the world to make a big positive impact and help others, whether it's in health, wealth, relationship, which is the 3 main categories that everything really falls into, and you're your own best kept secret, well, you got a problem. So distribution and eyeballs are very hard to come by. I mean, that's the name of the game, as Don just said. It's how do you get yourself in front of, let's just call it eyeballs. So on Facebook, you used to be able to, in 2008, what we're doing now, and you would basically be able to build a fan page quick and get 5 or 10 or 20,000 people to see your videos. And then they got what they wanted, which was a great distribution and engagement. And they jammed the platform with advertising. They took away all the organic reach because they stuffed it with advertising. So you can't do that. Podcasting. Well, if you were 10 years ago and started podcasting and it was easy and everyone was like so excited about podcasts, and you build up a big fan base like Joe Rogan, you can get a check for 200 million. But today you're fighting with millions of people. Every day there's how many hundreds of thousands of podcasts started. And like, who needs really a new podcast? I mean, like the people that love podcasts are already in. So that's a little difficult to get eyeballs. And then let's go back to blogging. 15 years ago, if you started blogging, people, oh, this is a great blog. People signing up for blogs. So, today it's the same story. Old, tired, hard. In the beginning, go all the way back to 2001 with AOL. And you were like, all right, I'm going to get my message out by email. People were so excited. You got mail. And you could have built a 1 million person email list. Obviously today, what it's like. So when you look at all these different channels, it's hard. You got to pay to play. Pay to play means you got to pay for advertising. When you pay for advertising, you're either paying on radio for ears or on social media or digital marketing for eyes. You're paying for eyeballs. So what we're talking about is, your best kept secret. You need to stop that. You need to let people know who you are and what you're about, and the service you provide and what you can do for them, and you need to see you. Then you can decide, I'm going to pay for advertising, which is great. I mean, YouTube's another channel I just forgot about. YouTube's good. It is a very long game. I mean, you got to talk about a long game. You got to just be dedicated to put out a lot of videos for 3 or 6 months, and before you sort of get into that engine to get some eyeballs. So, this is going back to what's your strategy? What do you want to accomplish? And when you start to figure out, okay, from a sales perspective, I need to make 2 or 4 or 6 sales a month. You're not going to make 50 sales in a month on LinkedIn. You're not going to make 20 sales in a month on LinkedIn. It's not that kind of channel, but you can make 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 sales. Yeah, you can make 20 sales actually. And that's kind of, maybe you can make more. I don't know. The last 2 weeks I made 10. So I shouldn't say that. You can make a lot of sales on LinkedIn, but you have to figure out, okay, in order to make those sales, how many conversations do I have? In order to have conversations, how many connections do I have? In order to get connections, what do I need consistently to do to get myself the eyeballs in front of people so people get to know, like, and trust you and me, and they get indoctrinated for who we are and what we stand for. And of course, all of this is wonderful. And we're talking about content production and getting out there, which really creates inbound. But then, of course, we layer in the outbound. And so the determining factor of your success in your outbound is how well you do on your inbound. Because people don't want to be spammed. If you got a terrible LinkedIn profile, you don't even have a banner updated, whatever, you haven't posted in 3 months or 6 months, but you want to use LinkedIn and spam people, well, the people are going to be like, well, who wants to connect with me? And they're going to see this person hasn't posted in 6 months. Like, why do I want to connect with them on LinkedIn? The only reason they're trying to connect with me is they want to sell me some shit.
Yeah, well, the key is most people don't know what they don't know, and they come in with an assumption that they can just buy, ask, or take whatever they want instead of earn a spot. And really, it's activity. I mean, nothing takes the place of doing something. And the more you do, the better you get at it, the more comfortable you get. The fear disappears. We talked about, making it like if you were trying to get out of an egg, right? It takes a lot of energy to bust that shell open. But once you're out, you're free. Now, how long do you want to stay in a claustrophobic environment? And how do you want to break free? And what me and Mike are putting together is an opportunity where if you can't do it, maybe we can with you, right? And you still got you, but you got you plus what we're doing. And another thing is we're immersed in it. I mean, we're so focused on LinkedIn, on every little nuance, on little strategies, on feedback that we receive from people involved with us. I mean, we're right at the front end of this thing, and we're focused on relevancy, not vanity numbers, but reality numbers that take you to your goal. Because fear goes away when success shows up, right? Once you start seeing numbers show up and you're making money and things are working, you can't wait to get back in the game, right? You want more of it. Every time you hit a win, you want a bigger win. You want a better win. And that shows in how you communicate. And sharing what you're doing while you're successful goes out there well, right? People know over time, there's a saying, time either promotes you or exposes you, right? And life's too short to have too many personas and keep up with them. So you might as well be who you are, where you are, with what you got, and work with it. Because everything else is an excuse that once I get this, once this happens, I can do it. There's always another day, another excuse. So what we're focused on is because we know the opportunity is so huge. And when I say huge, I mean huge, that anybody just stumbling along will get a back draft, right, to push you forward. And the thing is for us to get as big as we want to be, we can't do it without you, right? So we're all dependent on each other in a good way.
That's the thing. And it's about It's not what you get, as Gary Vaynerchuk says, it's what you give. And I think also kind of referencing where you're coming from is you and I each started on our own with nothing. I heard Gary Vaynerchuk speak for an hour and a half. I took 5 people, took 5 months to figure it out. And I am like a data guy, ex Wall Street spreadsheet guy, and crunched everything. I made a ton of mistakes. I almost gave up 3 times. Every time I was about to give up, I heard a message from Gary Vaynerchuk, "Don't give up," and I just kept going. And then finally, in the first 12 months, I ended up with 1 million views, and it changed everything. And then I was basically parlayed doing it for myself because COVID, smacked my other business. Then I started doing it for others. So it was a real big jump off point. We're launching LinkTank, and people are invited to join us. It's going to be, we haven't released the details yet. I mean, we're going to leak out something right now, but it's going to be a once a week group live call with Don and I, me or Don. You're going to get one of us or both of us once a week. And it'll be an hour, and it's going to be teach and earn and learn and community and grow. And it's going to be fun and exciting. The objective is to collapse the point from where you are to success, whatever that looks like. It doesn't matter what your objective is. We explained earlier 4 objectives. It doesn't matter. We're going to collapse time. That's the key in business. Avoid mistakes, because mistakes are going to take time and money. So avoid them. If someone else knows, don't do all that, because you're going to waste time and it's going to damage your reputation. Then you don't do it. That's good. You want to know that, right? And if they say do this, and you need to do that for 3 weeks to see that, well, that takes all the angst and anxiety out, because you're like, okay, I got my plan. And then you work the plan. And then if you get stuck on week 2, you're on a call with us and the community, because we don't have all the answers. And we don't want to have all the answers. That's the great thing about having a powerful community, because people are testing and doing different things and reporting back to the group. And we're like, and then more people can try that. And all of a sudden we've got something that no one in the world knows about on LinkedIn. And believe me, we have uncovered a bunch of things like that no one in the world knows about, because the only way to know it is to stumble into it, test it, see if it's repeatable, and then you got the strategy.
Well, and to speak to that, Mike has been running a hugely successful mastermind group. So have I. So we've got experience putting people together for productive benefit of the time involved. The knowledge share is incredible. We get feedback, we learn, we share. And the idea is everybody working together for each other's success, but more importantly, collectively. Now you're part of something bigger than yourself, something stronger than yourself, and something you can plug in every week and have direct questions, answers, throw it around the group, and walk away with either confirmation or new insights, or more importantly, something that drives you to more activity, keeps your motivation level way up there, so you're not thinking about quitting. You're actually thinking about succeeding. And you don't know what you don't know. And if people had the right perspective, if they said, hey, you've been doing this for 2 years, right? And this is what you got and what you can show for it. Yeah, but it puts you on the threshold of where someone else hasn't been, because here's one thing you have to know. Whatever you achieve means someone behind you has to do the same thing to be where you're at, right? So every time you climb the ladder, and there is a great saying that says so many people are climbing the right ladder on the wrong wall, right? So they're doing all the right things. They're just doing it against the wrong situation. And sometimes it's just turning things around and making an adjustment that me and Mike can do. A lot of you out there have so much more abilities in so many different ways than me and Mike do. But I think it's the simple disciplines that we deploy, right? And the accountability and responsibility we assume that takes us from that 85% to the 100%, right? That's the magic 15 points that get you where you want to go. So with LinkTank, we decided, hey, why not get hands-on, get consistent, do it on a weekly basis, get involvement, get participation, and hopefully as we continue to grow and change, it just expands exponentially out there through our networks and through your networks. And,
Yes, our
that's
objective is 1 billion people. So, Don, I just want to leave everyone with the small hands that swings the big door. Like when we talk about, I mean, it just builds on everything we spoke about and Tuesday's training because it's 2:30 now. We started a few minutes late, but I'm gonna try to keep these to our 20 minutes, which is pretty tough. The small hinge that swings the big door. So it means to only focus on a few things that are going to make the biggest impact. So hinge number one for what we're doing is you must focus on optimizing your your ability to be a thought leader, which means your LinkedIn profile page has got to be a rock star. Because at the end of the day, you can do a lot of activity, and if someone goes to check you out and like you stink, then all that activity doesn't work. So we can't control everything because we're on someone else's platform. So the things that we can control, we got to dial in. So the LinkedIn profile, got to get it dialed in. And then if you want to figure it out, go on my page. There we have 18 steps to dial on your LinkedIn profile. It's a great starting point. So that's number one. That's a small hinge. The second one is that you've got to be able to create relevant content, right? This is what we spoke about, I think, last week, is you have an audience that's your ideal customer. You want them to be like, wow, he or she, meaning you or I, we're the content producers and the authorities, they know their shit. So you have to match what you're sharing on LinkedIn to what they would find desirable, need, solve problems, learn, and be engaged with. That makes sense. And the third hinge is in order to accelerate everything, if you think about, okay, what can I control? We said earlier, you just reverse engineer what your bottom line is. So the third hinge is your outbound. So you have your LinkedIn profile, which is where all the activity is going to end up there. Because if you do outbound, the first thing you're going to do is like, who's trying to touch me? They're going to go to your LinkedIn profile. So that's hinge one. Hinge two is produce great content that the people that are your ideal customers are going to be connected with. That's part of LinkedIn. What they want is great content, and they'll help you with distribution. So that will create flow and inbound. And then the third hinge, which holds the door, is then you can control your outbound. And you can do 100 a week now is what most people get relegated to. That's 20 a day, Monday through Friday. So that might seem like a lot. Do 1 a day. Do 5 a day. Do 10 a day. So those are really what I would consider the three hinges that swing the big door. And it's not overwhelming. Our objective on LinkTank is to give you simple stuff, the concepts, some of the mindset stuff, but like something that you can do. So now you have three hinges. You can do any one of those activities. You can fix and upgrade your LinkedIn profile. Right? You can do that. You want some advice after you do it? Message Todd and I. We won't charge you. We'll help you. We'll give you a couple of thoughts for free. Right? That's cool. 2, make some content. After you do it, if you want us to check it out, get the link to the post, give it to Don and I. Say, hey, I just did this. I watched your LinkTank. I'm upgrading my content. Can you look at it for a second and give me your thoughts? We'll tell you, right? And then the third one is do your outbound. Figure out what activity you need to do. Make it a daily habit and just do it. So
yeah, and I think that really leads into, the LinkTank, and what we're doing is great for information and tips. But if you really want to focus and integrate what we're saying on a daily basis, then join the LinkTank waiting list. Get in touch with us in advance to say, I'm interested. I talked to two people yesterday. As soon as I brought up the framework of what we're planning for LinkTank, they said, you got to keep in touch with me. As soon as you got something definite, I want to know about it. And that gives me a lot of confidence. Me and Mike wanted to come out of the gate with something that would just blow your socks off, right? Be too good to be true, but be true, and it's because
it's going to be too stunt.
and that's what we're excited about, for what we know that we haven't shared, but we know how exciting it is when we do. And then everything will start to materialize. So if you think all you need is a little bit of a push, or you got a hump to get over, this would be a great opportunity to get you in the game, get you in the fast lane, and get you in with us. So I think that's by next week, we'll have our program. We're just putting the final touches on it. So thank you again for watching. Mike, you got any final words?
No, I just thank everyone for spending moments with us, and we value your feedback. You got questions, send them in ahead of time. We still would love to have someone come on with us and and promote you. That's cool. The only other thing is, I can't believe it's Friday again. So every Friday I have to say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Over and out. Everyone have a great weekend.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Memorial Day.
Wait a second. We have to actually say thanks to everyone that is of service, that gave their lives, that's working, that's protecting us, that's in the service, because that's what makes this country great. So yeah, I forgot about that. So yes, happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day.